it is Trump's totally erratic personality and the fact that there are sycophants around him. Even saying that, you're portrayed in front of the Ministry of Labor, as if they had seen, I don't know what, God.
The Pakistan factor. Now, apparently, Shahbaz Sharif, while speaking at the United Nations General Assembly, he took the name of President Trump and praised President Trump 7 times, whereas he mentioned Kashmir, the raison d'etre of Pakistan, only twice. And he also proposed the name of President Trump for the Nobel Peace nomination from the United Nations General Assembly. So it was all very surreal. Now there is a school of thought which says that Pakistan is being given a very transactional importance. It is not long term. India should not be very alarmist about this, because United States is looking to end the conflict in West Asia, and it is looking for very small transactional arrangements with people who matter with countries who matter in the region, and they will pivot to India once they start pivoting to the Indo-Pacific. But what we see that China, they are hardly treating China as a strategic opponent, I would say right now, only as an economic adversary. How do you see this whole situation evolving?
I think with Pakistan, there always has been in the United States a view that whatever their differences with Pakistan, whatever the irritations of the past, whatever their complaints, whatever their realistic view of Pakistan, its involvement in terrorist organizations, and the damage that they have done to US interests in Afghanistan by sheltering the Taliban, Osama bin Laden, that United States cannot ignore Pakistan. Pakistan is a very major Muslim country, and it possesses nuclear weapons. Plus, it is also the seat of international terrorism. This requires the United States to engage with Pakistan. That's one aspect. The other is that there is a long commitment, there is a long history of in the United States and Pakistan working together on security issues, because Pakistan has been a member of all the alliances that the United States set up, and is a major non-NATO ally. Despite Osama bin Laden and everything else, they haven't changed that. Why haven't they changed that? Because they see it as an important country in the Islamic world. It is situated in a very critical area geographically. Whether they've been able to profit from it fully in recent years, that's a different matter. The fact is, it joins China, it joins Afghanistan, it joins Central Asia, it joins Iran, it joins the Middle East in an area in which the United States has a lot of interest. So they want to be able to use Pakistan as a partner or as a pawn in their larger strategy in this region. That if they're absent from Pakistan, then there's a void in the US Central Command. There's a void, strategic void for United States in this area. After a while, they're looking for something in Bangladesh, because they feel there's a void there. But a much bigger void would be here if they were absent from Pakistan. And then let's not ignore this. Pakistan is a pressure point on India for them. That India has to go to the United States in order to exert some control over Pakistan. And India cannot ignore US role in Pakistan altogether. So the capacity for putting political security and other pressure by the United States on India is a lot. For example, let's say tomorrow they decided to give some arms to Pakistan. a
mm,
fresh batch of F-16s or something else, or military aid. Look at the reaction in India.
mm,
We'll do everything to try to stop this, work in the Congress, put pressure, activate our lobbies there, the caucus or whatever else, uh, to say this shouldn't be done. So this is, in other words, they got India on the back foot
mm,
uh, by uh, Pakistan being there as an instrument that they can use. Plus, and let's not forget that the Russians believe, and probably not entirely wrongly, that this IS Khorasan, which is supposed to be active in the APAC region, actually is a CIA creation with Pakistan's complicity to put pressure on Russia and the Central Asians and the Central Asian states and through the Central Asian states on Russia.
mm,
That remains a vulnerable point for Russia. It's got a huge Muslim population. And some of the recent terrorist attacks have been by Tajiks and others. So, uh, United States would like to have a foot in the game. Why do they want now to reclaim Bagram?
mm,
Uh, After all, they suffered such a massive military setback and a strategic defeat in Afghanistan. So why do they want to come back? They want to fight the Taliban again. It is also Pakistan is also useful for Iran. After all, some of the Jandullah, whatever organizations that are operating
mm,
uh, against Iran in the Balochistan, Iranian Balochistan, they are operating from Pakistani soil. Of
mm,
course, there's a limit to which the United States tactically would exacerbate these terrorist activities on the ground, but because this can lead to a conflict and they'll have some other problems, but it remains a pressure point.
mm,
It
mm,
remains a pressure point. And then historically, they've always looked upon Pakistan to provide security to Saudi Arabia. It's a long-standing thing. Uh, yes, in between Saudi-Pakistan relations developed some difficulties because Imran Khan was a bit uppity with, with the Saudi king. They refused to send their people to fight the Houthis in
mm,
Yemen. Uh, and they also tried to, after our friend Mohammed bin Salman started modernizing and liberalizing Saudi Arabia, the Pakistanis and the Turks and the Malaysians wanted to set up an alternative Muslim body,
mm,
that kind of to assert the traditional Muslim values and
mm,
resist these new trends, which would have had domestic implications for these countries.
mm,
So, uh, and this pact, notwithstanding some contradictions in it, but America lives with contradictions. Uh, they are behind this pact.
mm,
They encourage this because it's burden sharing. That, like in Europe, they say, look, you bear the burden for challenging Russia.
mm,
So here they are saying, in some senses, that Pakistan should also share the burden along with the Saudi Arabians and others to look after security and not be entirely put the entire burden on America. This way, they control the developments in the region. It's not as if all the chess moves have been thought out so much in advance that they can visualize how the game will end and how the king will be checkmated. It's not possible in
mm.
geopolitics. But broadly speaking, this is the way that they can assert
True,
their
sir.
primacy in the region.
Mm,
Uh, and that's why these things, Pakistan is a very useful element in all this. And finally, I'd like to say on this that if anybody says that this is to, in some ways, check Chinese influence in Pakistan, is rubbish. In
mm,
fact, both countries have adjusted to playing a role in Pakistan. The US has never objected to China's role in Pakistan. And in fact, in the past, both countries have actually collaborated in making Pakistan going nuclear.
true.
Uh, so they never objected to the CPEC. They
Mm,
never once, when talking of connectivity, objected to it going through POK. They're not bothered about Gwadar. And now, after imposing sanctions on Chabahar, they're actually making life easier for Gwadar and China and CPEC.
Hmm.
Eh, Even though they know that through Gwadar, potentially is going to become, they get a naval base in that region, China is able to increase its presence in the Gulf, in the very areas which United States wants to, in some ways, continue to dominate.
And
Uh,
maybe bypass that Malacca choke points which these people had, the Americans had. They're bypassing that also through Gwadar.
The Chinese are. That's right. So it actually is complicating the maritime security situation in the Indian Ocean, and
Hmm.
yet they are unbothered. They're hitting us, whereas the
Hmm.
Chaba doesn't create any security problems at all for the United
Hmm.
States. It just gives us better access to Afghanistan and to Central Asia. And if at some stage it gets linked to the international North-South transport corridor, then you can get connected to Russia, but it's purely commercial thing.
So is Shahbar only about Iran, or it's more about India, or it's about both of us?
Both of
They,
us,
they- both
both of
India and
us.
Iran. They're trying to hit both India and Iran through Chabahar.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, uh, but it's less. After all, they have look on the nuclear issue and the sanctions that they have imposed on Iran and the snapback sanctions they have imposed again. They
Hmm.
got so much, and they've attacked militarily. Trump has attacked militarily the nuclear installations of Pakistan. Israel has attacked of Iran. Israel attacked Iran. So, in terms of countering Iran, putting pressure on Iran, they are putting
Hmm.
enormous pressure. They don't need Chabahar port as an important point of pressure. Actually, they're hurting India.
Hmm.
Not really Iran. They're hurting India.
So that factor again comes into play, that the Modi government, I mean, we have to give it to them that they have displayed remarkable equanimity while facing this terrible, terrible disruptive diplomacy coming out from US and Trump in particular. But there is one fallout also, because if this keeps on repeating day in and day out and Indian economic interests getting hurt, I was reading somewhere during my student days in the history books that perhaps it was Dadabhai Nauroji. I will stand corrected if I'm wrong. That पेट पे लात मत मारो पीठ पे भले ही कितने लात मारो. It was his economic drain theory of the British, that don't hurt somebody's earning. So if this keeps on escalating, now there's the actual risk of the Modi government having negative fallout over these policies. So where does this leave India in totality, sir? Can we only keep waiting and biding our time and hoping for the storm to blow over? Do we have livers over US?
You see, it's like this. Um, it's how you interpret what is happening between India and United States. There is no logical reason at all
Hmm.
that India and US will become antagonistic to each other,
True.
and this antagonism will endure. How is it going to serve US interests at all? As it is, there is this feeling in the United States, in some circles, and not wrongly, that they have pushed Russia into the arms of China. Now,
Hmm.
do they want also India, despite its reluctance,
Hmm.
despite the fact that it's trying to moderate the anti-Western postures of Russia and China within BRICS, within the G20 also, within the SCO? Uh, do they want us also push us into a situation where actually we will begin to subscribe to the anti-American agenda of BRICS and SCO, including de-dollarization? Not that we want it, but do they want us to be pushed in that direction? And then you have India, China, and Russia getting together. It's a nightmare for the United States.
Hmm.
It is not. It is not realistic, and I don't think that it will reach a point where the relations will begin to crack up. The other is that America's lead in innovation in high-tech area, you know, eh, they can't do without India. They can't. Their own sector, high-tech sector, the is totally connected with India. It's not connected to anybody else. Who else? Not with China, not with Europe, not with Russia, not with Africa, not with Latin America. It's primarily with India.
Hmm.
So if they want to keep their lead in artificial intelligence and all the other advanced areas,
Hmm.
who do they need to collaborate with? Who can then
True.
provide them the talent and the scale that they need?
Hmm.
Where will they set up these global capability centers? Okay, they
Then
can't send
why
them in
this
China, they
madness,
can't
sir?
send them in Russia.
Sir, I'll keep a very fundamental question. When both the countries need each other, I mean, it's very important that both of us respect each other's space also. So why this madness over tariffs,
Look,
everything else?
we respect the US space. I mean, where have we at all
True, sir.
tried to constrict the US space? No, I'm
No,
just
we have
saying
not. We have not.
they are constricting our space.
True.
They are constricting our space. And it is just, as you mentioned earlier on, this hubris. It is real hubris. They sense India, they sense that, at the end of the day, they've taken the measure of India. India, at the end of the day, will come back to us no matter what, because there are complementarities, there are common interests. We can reverse our policy towards India and we can win back India. This is what Trump thinks.
Hmm.
This is out of the deal that you can have very hard and almost uh, aggressive bargaining with the person on the other side, and at the end when you strike a deal you shake hands and embrace each other. I don't know what it, maybe he thinks this is part of the heart of the deal. And then I think they're also playing on the fact that there are within India large lobbies which actually want India-US relations to be to continue to be strong. Uh, our big business, our IT companies, their interests are tied up. Our elite, look at the almost everyone. I don't know almost everyone, but large number of our elite families have children who are in the United States.
True.
350,000 students there. Uh, the best boys from our IT sector, from our
Hmm.
IIT, they go there. The doctors want to get more opportunities there. The people-to-people contacts are very strong. Within our armed forces, there are those who are very positively inclined towards the
Hmm.
United States. And in a democratic country like ours, where there is where there is possibility for them to influence public opinion through the opposition, through the social media, through the NGOs, they think that they can handle us. Uh, so, in a sense, we are relatively vulnerable. We are not like China.
Hmm.
And Modi is trying to do his level
Hmm.
best to strengthen ourselves from within. And he's warning the United States that don't push me into choices that will be difficult for you, apart
Hmm.
from being difficult for us. He- Look at the manner in which he has spoken about Russia recently,
Hmm.
when he met the Deputy Prime Minister of Russia. Uh, he deliberately giving signals that we have a tried and tested partnership with Russia, which we'll maintain, which we'll expand. Uh,
Hmm.
so, uh, it, but to answer your question, it is Trump's totally erratic personality and the fact that there are sycophants around him. I mean, it was almost comical, that cabinet meeting in which one after another the cabinet members were flattering him. One even saying that, you're portrayed in front of the Ministry of Labor, as if they had seen, I don't know what, God incarnate. And what did this fellow Steve Witkoff or Lutnick
Witkoff.
was it? Yeah,
Witkoff, sir.
Witkoff.
Witkoff.
Witkoff said that you are in history you are the most eligible person for getting the Nobel Peace
Hmm.
Prize, and the Norwegian committee should realize this.
And the rest
I
were
mean,
clapping. And the rest were clapping, sir, when he said this.
do you think it is edifying? It's the edifying image of the United States of America. Even it doesn't happen visibly even in China, where Xi Jinping controls everything.
So the only parallel is North Korea.
But North Korea also, yeah, in a sense, yes. Though, of course, we don't have a meeting which is covered by television and where
But
all of them are
whatever we
having. But
see.
yes, but you're right. You're right. So, but to come back to your question, um, I think the relationship will come back on track, uh, not immediately, and there will be a scar left behind. India will be now very careful about putting too many eggs in the US basket, and will try to pursue policies which make us less dependent on the United States and explore other relationships, economic, political, technological, to the extent that we can. And the effort would be to focus on Europe, focus on Japan, focus on Australia, uh, because uh, these are the high consumption markets,
Mm.
and they provide tremendous trade opportunities. Europe has a lot of technology, a lot of
True.
technology, uh, except that it's not under one single political government.
Mm.
Uh, but they have it. They have tremendous country like France and Britain. They have tremendous defense technologies too. We can cooperate with them in all the new areas of quantum and computing and quantum and critical technologies and everything else. We can do that. France is very, very advanced in innovative technologies. So that's an option. That's
Mm.
an option. So it's a difficult challenge that we are facing, but we've gone through even more difficult challenges in the past. And I think at the end of the day, even on the nuclear issue, the United States buckled after we went nuclear. They came back to us and,
So
and
it's my
settled the.
personal belief that when a nation or a civilization is on the curve up, you have to face challenges and then overcome challenges. And that is what makes civilizations great.
Yeah, but yes, you're right. I mean, as a general proposition, you're right. But we are not genuinely, we're not rising in antagonism towards the West.
Truth.
See,
True.
China is rising in antagonism to the West on everything. They
But we are
openly
claiming
say,
our space,
we
sir.
don't share your values, we don't share your democracy. They have a totally different system of governance. It's not that in our case at all.
But we are
In fact,
claiming
there
our
are
space,
people.
sir. We are claiming our space. Maybe that is not acceptable to them. They want us to be subservient.
Yeah, but they tried for 300-400 years to make the rest of the world subservient. But look at what's happening today. They can't do that anymore. So they have to realize the limits of their own power. And you're right, except that countries like India have to be given their space and actually benefit from that by strengthening ties and creating a genuine mutuality of interest.
True.
But if the approach is that you have to bend to our will and you have to do what we ask you to do, they don't have the power any longer to do that. And now that the transatlantic alliance it has developed a serious rift in
Mm.
the past, after all, after the Second World War, why was there such a Western hegemony? Because of the transatlantic alliance. Europe
Mm.
and US were working together. Now they're not working together, and it won't be easy to rift that to
True.
uh, resolve the differences that have taken place or address that rift, and that'll weaken them. That'll weaken the G7. So they should see the writing on the wall and keep India on their side, which we are willing to, but without they telling us that you can't develop ties with Russia, or you can't do this, or you can't do that, or you can't lead the global south. You can't say that the developing countries should have greater role in global governance, and the UN must be reformed, and the realities of shifts of power today should actually get reflected in the working of international organizations. These are legitimate demands that are being made.
Mm.
If the mindset is half colonial still, then obviously there'll be problems down the road.
So we'll have to conclude on that note only with the optimistic belief that this too shall pass and things will take a better trajectory sooner rather than later. We can only wait and watch.
I agree.
Thank you for sparing time for us, sir. Thank you
My
so
pleasure.
much. It's always
My
such a pleasure and an honor.
My pleasure.
Thank you,
All the
sir.
best.
Thank you.
Thank you.